What's the price of securing a top-tier defender when it means parting ways with a rising star? The Vancouver Canucks have made headlines once again, trading for a key piece while sending shockwaves through the fan base by letting go of a highly regarded prospect. This trade could redefine the team's trajectory, but at what cost? Join me as we dissect the implications of this trade and what it means for our beloved Canucks. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up to keep up with the latest Canucks news. The Vancouver Canucks have once again made headlines, and this time, it's about a trade that has left many scratching their heads, including some former NHL executives. On January 31st, Patrick Allvin was busy reshaping the roster, moving JT Miller to the Rangers and bringing in Marcus Pettersson from the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the real kicker? The Canucks included promising prospect Melvin Fernstrom in that deal, and that's where the controversy begins. Now, let's break this down. Melvin Fernstrom, the 18-year-old Swedish player, has been turning heads in the SHL, putting up solid numbers with Örebro HK. 8 points in his last 10 games? That's impressive for a kid his age in one of the top leagues in Europe. And yet, the Canucks decided to part ways with him along with a first-round pick they snagged in the Miller trade. Steve Warrior, an ex-NHL executive, has openly criticized this move, suggesting that the Canucks scouting team, known for their talent evaluation, missed the mark on this one. It's a tough pill to swallow. On one hand, acquiring a top-4 defenseman like Marcus Pettersson was a necessity for a team that has struggled on the blue line. You can't deny that. The Canucks needed to bolster their defense, and sometimes, you have to give up something of value to get what you desperately need. But on the other hand, giving up a prospect with Fernstrom's potential? That's where my heart starts to ache. Let's be real. The Canucks have been looking for stability on defense for far too long. It's been a revolving door of players, and each season feels like we're still searching for the right mix. In that light, bringing in Pettersson seems like a move aimed at finally solidifying that defensive core. He's signed for 6 years, which gives the team some much-needed security. But is that security worth losing a potential star in the making? I find myself torn. Fernstrom's development path is unpredictable, as is the case with any young player. He could very well take a step back next season, but then again, he's already showing promise in a competitive league, and that's not something to overlook. When he eventually makes his way to North America, we'll see if the Canucks made a grave mistake or if they were justified in their decision. And let's not forget about the other players in the deal. Danton Heinen and Vincent Descharnais were part of the package heading to Pittsburgh, while Drew O'Connor came back to Vancouver. All these players have been integrated into the team, and from what we've seen so far, they're all holding their own. But can their contributions really outweigh the potential loss of a player like Fernstrom? That's a question that lingers in the air. I can't help but think about the emotions involved in a trade like this. As Canucks fans, we invest so much in these young prospects, dreaming about their potential impact on the team. We envision them wearing the blue and green, making big plays, and helping us finally lift the cup. When a player like Fernstrom is shipped off, those dreams feel a little more fragile. So, what do you think? Was this the right path for the Canucks? Did they make a wise move in trading away Fernstrom, or should they have held on to him a bit longer? Honestly, I'm torn. I see the logic behind the trade, but the emotional aspect weighs heavily on my mind. And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. The Vancouver Canucks have made a bold move by committing to Kevin Lankinen with a 5-year extension worth $4.5 million per year. This deal has certainly raised eyebrows, and I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, Lankinen's performance has been solid, and the potential upside of this contract makes it intriguing. On the other hand, the implications for Thatcher Demko's future with the team add a layer of complexity to the situation. Lankinen's AAV places him as the 21st highest-paid goalie in the league for the upcoming 2025-26 season. It's interesting to note that as the NHL's salary cap continues to rise, this contract could age like fine wine. If Lankinen remains a top-tier goalie, which many argue he is, then this deal could turn out to be a steal. Just look at other goalies in this offseason who are likely to command contracts above $4.5 million. Lankinen's deal might very well be seen as a bargain in a couple of years. Now let's talk about his performance. Currently ranked 18th in games played and tied for 15th in wins, Lankinen has shown he can handle the pressure. His save percentage of .907 and a goals against average of 2.52 are respectable numbers, especially considering the ups and downs the Canucks have experienced this season. If it weren't for Lankinen, who knows how many more games the team might have lost. He's not just a backup, he's a game changer. However, the argument against this contract often leans on Lankinen's history as a career backup. But I think that's an unfair label. Sure, he started his career as a rookie with the Chicago Blackhawks, but he was thrust into a starting role and performed admirably. He faced challenges, particularly in his second season, but that's part of the game. Moving to Nashville, he had the unfortunate luck of being behind Juuse Saros, one of the best goalies in the league. Yet even as a backup, he consistently ranked among the top in that role, proving his worth. This season in Vancouver, Lankinen has taken on more responsibility, and his stats reflect that. He's shown he's more than capable of being a starter, and this new contract indicates that the Canucks see him as such. Will he fully take the reins, or will he split duties with Demko? That's the million-dollar question. I think it's crucial for the team's future that they find a way to balance both goalies effectively. If they can do that, it could lead to a more sustainable success model. Still, there are lingering questions. Lankinen is entering this contract at age 30, which is often considered a risky age for goalies. But I would argue that his late start in the NHL, combined with his previous years as a backup, could mean he has less wear on his tires. Plus, he hasn't played a playoff game yet. That's a significant gap in his resume, and it raises concerns about whether he can perform when it matters most. Imagine if Lankinen can replicate his current form over the next 5 years and finally shows what he can do in the postseason. That would not only vindicate this contract, but could also make it one of the best goalie contracts in the league. As Canucks fans, this is the kind of situation we dream about. A goalie who is not only solid in the regular season, but also steps up in the playoffs. Looking ahead, if Lankinen can maintain or even elevate his game, there's a good chance he will be undervalued in the grand scheme of things. This contract gives the Canucks flexibility. With Lankinen's AAV being below the average for starting goalies, it opens doors for the team to invest in other areas, whether that's bringing in a high-cost backup or strengthening the roster elsewhere. So, what do you think? Are you feeling optimistic about Lankinen's future with the Canucks, or do you have reservations? I want to hear your opinions down below. It's crucial for us as fans to engage in this conversation and share our expectations for the upcoming seasons. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on all things Canucks, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of the latest updates. Let's keep the discussion going and hope for a bright future for our Vancouver Canucks.